Hey, this is Mike from Junkion Crafts and Builds, and this is the impressions video of the Cobra Night Attack 4-wheel drive Stinger and Driver. So I know I'm a little bit late with all this. You guys have seen countless other videos for this, so I'm not going to waste too much of your time with it, but I do want to give you my thoughts on this vehicle and maybe show something else in this video. Who knows? But we already know what the box looks like. I do like the imagery they have here on the front showing two of these stingers with a ferret. So we got that. This is number 120, and there you go, the back that we know, love, and well, that's about it. So let's not waste too much time with it and get this thing out of the box so we can talk about the Stinger. So here we have the Stinger and the Driver out of the packaging, and I wasn't going to bore you by pointing out all the pieces and parts that come with the Stinger. Again, I'm behind compared to the other influencers and people that want to give their thoughts about this vehicle set. You just know that we've got this little ram here, this little ram catcher up front that's attached to the frame. We got our supercharger instead of the storage boxes and stuff that was on the Vamp. The biggest change obviously is that we have a top and doors, and because safety, we've got a little foot stand here in the back for your Cobras to stare into the back of the missiles. So first and foremost, I need to thank G-Toney for allowing me to buy this off of him. Not because it's scarce, unlike the Vamp. So again, thank you, G-Toney, for allowing me to get this one. So we're going to look at the Cobra Trooper or the Driver real quick. Nothing too unfamiliar from what we know already. I mean, he's a Cobra Trooper body. It's an older buck, so we got pins for the knees and elbows here. Color scheme is good because it's consistent with the Ferret Driver. A little bit darker gray compared to the Ferret Driver. It has highlights of blue, where this is getting accents of red on them here. You got the glossy paint for the kneecaps. Everything else is a really nice matte. I mean, it's reuse, but it's nicely done for the most part. Because he's on a Cobra Trooper body, we get a lot of Cobra Trooper weapons, So we get a knife that's red plastic that's been painted for the blade. It's gummy, it's flippy floppy, but that slides into the sheath on the side. We've gotten our usual suspects for weapons. This Luger style pistol, which of course is going to go here, sitting high on his waist, so that way he has to finagle and angle his body just to pull this out. We have our submachine gun with a the usual side mounted magazine that goes into place. We're blast effect compatible, so we have that. And then we have AR/AK style weapon that we've seen a couple times. Now I will say this is actually quite firm and straight. Oh, minus that little bit of a curve here at the barrel, but overall nice and straight. Same with this one here, nice and firm. But again, we got the very small grip here. The stock still a little soft and pliable. Removable magazine, but we don't get the other attachments that we've seen with this weapon. So we don't get the little scope / laser finder here on the top. So yeah. And we get the usual sheath, which again, the right weapon actually sits in here somewhat better than on the Fire Team, in the fact that it actually stays in place, right? So, it goes in the back. And what is a Cobra Trooper without his bucket? So let's get that on, press it nice and firmly down. And there he is, all decked out. All right, here's the Stinger. We are not unfamiliar with this because all this is a repaint of the Vamp. If you were able to get a Vamp, that is, you know what we're looking at here. But if you hadn't, real quick, it is a small two-person Jeep that has some really smart decos on it here, especially, you know, we've got the Stinger here and the Cobra tampos. We've got some other various tampos across the Stinger here, these little side lights they're painted on. But we have a nice little tampo here on the inner charger. We got some lights built into the top here. We got our shovel. The deco here on the doors look fairly nice, and we even got a little bit of a red accent here on the inside. The interior deco is the same type of accent paints that we had on the Vamp, only decked out in red and yellow. So as we go in the back here, you've got the translucent plastic here for the tail lights. Again, this little foot peg which snaps on, and apparently it can also go on the Vamp. We'll try that out. This right here, just like the Vamp, it's held in place by this very small little peg. Makes it kind of a pain in the butt. And this armature feels super cheap, just by the feel of it. So, not sure how I feel about that. You know, turbo in the back, wheels, good, suspension, yay, suspension. Wobbly though, because they're just on a mushroom peg. And heaven forbid we don't show, but yes, and touch the engine here. Though I will say the engine is just a really dull gray. I think I might actually paint that. I might put some rub and buff on there, give it a little bit of character. Same with this turbocharger here. But we'll see. And we got our, you know, a little winch here that you can pull out and stuff. Everything that they showed before, we can look at here. It definitely is a modernization of the Stinger. You know, it just seems a little bland. Like the red isn't popping. You know, you got this, even the rockets here. The last bit of accessories we're going to talk about for this, again, reuse is key. This is all stuff we've seen before, and this is basically the little effects pieces that we got with scrap iron to show battle and all this other stuff. But go figure. I mean, the softer PVC for the blast effects, I'm just going to heat them up. These are the real travesty, and I think we've talked about these enough within the community. I will obviously, oh wow, this one's even worse. Yeah, I'm not going to use these at all. Never will. It's kind of pointless. I do want to have something that makes this look cooler. I mean, it's a nice vehicle. We know that from the Vamp. The Vamp itself was cool enough, but I think I want something different. And we have been inundated with images of the add-on kit that Gridiron has been putting out to make this thing a six-wheeled APC vehicle with a big ass cannon and everything else. That's kind of not what I want. To me, when I hear Stinger, I'm thinking fast, I'm thinking agile, deadly, you know, what it should be. To me, the Gridiron stuff just wasn't that. I have a few stores that I love. So one of those is Pixis Designs. So I went and decked myself out with stuff. So let's go ahead and look at what I bought. So here is my loadout for my Stinger that I picked up from Pixis Designs. And I'll kind of go through each one that I got here, and then we're going to put all this stuff on the Stinger. If you remember when I did my Vamp video and some upgrade kits from him, the doors for the Vamp were pretty plain. So what he's done is, for the Stinger, he's made a bit of a change with the doors and put a lot more detail on. And then the little louvered windows actually can be removed. So you can go with or without them, and they are tension fit and they just kind of slide right in, which I do like, because if there are some things that I want to take pictures with, I want to have that little bit of opening. So like say if I want to have the driver outside or leaning out of the door, or the passenger and firing, I have that option. So we have a pair of doors, and with the door, of course, with the Stinger, we have the roof. He designed a new roof here. Again, we've got sculpted overhead lights here, you know, in white and yellow, which are pretty cool. Definitely seems a lot more of an accent than the top here. Oops. But what we do have that the stock doesn't have is we have an opening man trap for the top of the roof. So you can always, again, have your figures popping out, or just have that open to bring in some light. The next is a new windshield that we saw with the Vamp, and this is more of an armored look here with plastic insert for the windshield. It kind of breaks up the look of it here. Now, as he explained in his video, this is all going to be pressure fit, and what you get with the looks, what you lose is the ability to flip this up and down. So it's tolerance to pressure fit into that space, and you set it and kind of forget it. So the Stinger front, again, we have this little ram or fence or catcher, whatever you want to call it. It's neat, but it's kind of small and dinky. So he redesigned a new bumper for it, and with these really gnarly ram pieces here. Now what's cool is you have removable side headlights that you can put in multiple positions. Again, default is out of the package. They kind of just sit there in the center, right? And you can maneuver them around, or you can slide it out, put them on the ends if you want a little more space in between there. Looks kind of cool. I like it. I like having the option. I can even take them off if I don't want to have them on there. And I gotta see, I think he has a design where it's not going to inhibit the winch coming out in between here, but we will we'll put this on. Again, it's just going to go into those screw holes in the front. So neat. The final accessory in the set that I picked up was a new type of weapon system. Again, you have 4 rockets on there. Once you fire them, then what? So what Pixis Design has done here is created a new piece, and it's going to be a little more stable than just using the little nub that the stock missile set sits on. So he's created this little square that's going to mount directly over that little raised piece. Now what's really cool, and I didn't want to take it off till now, is now we are armed to the teeth with a lot of really cool smaller rockets. Some would say they're little stingers. And he's gone ahead and printed these out. Now, when he first introduced these, as you can see here, it's like 2 different color plastics here with the gray and the black and then the red on top. He said he only did a couple of these, but they took forever to print. So anything else that he buys or that is on his store for these, they're going to be one color now. So I was fortunate enough to get one of the sets that were multicolored. So I want to thank Pixis Designs for letting me ask if there were any left, and he saved one for me to ship out. So thank you so much for that. So those are the accessories I picked up, but let's stop talking and let's get this stuff installed. All right, so we're going to start in the front with this new bumper. And like I said, there are these 2 little screw holes that these posts are going to go into. So let's just slide that in. So there's our new front, and that looks pretty cool. And we'll put on our little hooks here. There we go. Now I got those on. Really brings it out nicely. So let's do the windshield next. All right, so here's the windshield. And again, the black pieces go in out facing. And we got these little notches here cut into the print that go into the pivot points that the old windshield was on, and that will help guide it into place. And we just kind of go ahead and just press it in, and that's it. Now we're going to do the roof and the doors. So I wanted to put the driver in before I put the top and sides on, just because it's going to be easier for me. And we're going to go ahead and put the roof on. So we just need to use these little slides, or not these slides, but these little guides here on the sides and the little cantered front here. And it just kind of simply pushes itself into place. And that's actually pretty cool looking. I do like the new lights on it. Definitely makes it a little more bold. And finally, we're going to go ahead and put on our doors. All right, so as you can see here, there's a bit of a guide now for the doors once you put the top on. And it's a simple C-clamp here that's put into place, similar to what we have with the original stock doors. And you just kind of push that right in. All right, we got a little bit of play that you can move around. Like I said, these little window inserts are removable, and there you go. And like I was saying, the only thing you don't have now is you don't have these little nubs to put your fingers under when you want to lift the door up. And doors and front windshield and a new front grille for the Stinger. So let's go ahead and put on some armaments. So since I really like to look at add-ons that people in the community do, and one of them, of course, is ToxicToyDepo. So in another order, he surprised me by giving me a add-on piece to try out for the Stinger. And here it is. So what we have here is a new blast effect that will allow you to simulate a rocket launching off of the Stinger here. I appreciate the fact that, you know, he didn't just provide this in the translucent orange, and he actually took time to paint this. So that's really appreciative. And again, we got these little details here on the front part of the blast effect to kind of simulate a little bit of flaming going on here as it actually turns into an exhaust plume. So we'll pull it off here. It just simply plugs into the bottom part here of the rocket. Nice and well toleranced, right? Looks cool going off, right? So let's just get it into the dog bone here. Now, because of the weight of the rocket itself, the blast effect is always going to kind of dip down. So he recommends, if you're going to use this, to simulate it launching up in the air. In that way, it'll definitely hold the weight. So I wanted to show how this thing attaches. Again, the dog bone is in place here, and it does fit fairly well. Like I said, it's not going to come off here. I'm shaking it fairly well. And it's not going to come off of the rocket itself. So I would recommend taking it off and putting the blast effect on, not like I was doing, just trying to manhandle it and put it into place like so. And I do agree with him. I think that makes it look really cool, and definitely what we would expect from the Stinger to begin with. So I want to thank ToxicToyDepo for providing me this sample to look at. I believe these are available at the time of recording on his Etsy store. So if you do like this, you want to get your own set, go to his page and order. But this is not the only effect piece that I have picked out. So let's go ahead and look at the pieces that I got. And I just wanted to show off the stock missile set here with the Pixis Designs add-on kit. And again, if we want to utilize the ToxicToyDepo, and there we are utilizing all my add-on kits from each of my favorite stores. And that looks pretty cool. But say I don't want to have this on and I want to utilize the other rocket launcher. Let's go ahead and get that on. All right, so like I said, this little square here and that little tiny nub is what we get to deal with. And now we have the new rocket launcher. I just put the tape back on so it didn't drop out any of these little rockets. And we have this little bottom piece here that lines up with the square. So let's just straighten this up first off. And he's already created a swivel here on this. And I'll show you that when we get it on. So we're just going to kind of line it up, and that just pushes down in via friction. And there is the modified missile set for the Stinger. Looks pretty cool. I like it. As I was saying, we have a pivot or a swivel here, excuse me, for the rockets, and that goes around 360. And we also have an elevation angle here, so we can shoot these rockets off higher. Again, really nice. It's a smart looking design. It's very, I don't know, I like the sculpt here on this set. Definitely kind of goes into the whole idea of the namesake of the vehicle here. So another thing I wanted to see here with my Stinger was putting the HMS missile system here onto the back. And something that's kind of always bugged me about this is just the connection point here to go onto these vehicles. So first thing I did was remove the old hitch, which was relatively easy. It's just held in place by friction on these two pivot points. And we're going to take our main body piece here and we're going to slide it into that cavity. And it's going to be held in place via friction, just like the original, over those two nubs. And now we have two ports that we can go ahead and plug in the arm. So looking at the height of the Stinger and then the HMS, it's going to go into this top spot here. So you just kind of just push it right in. And that looks so much better. That new piece definitely gives you enough length to make some turns here with the Stinger. And it looks so much more substantial and strong for carrying the HMS. And the adapter piece is also going to have it set, so if you wanted to hook this up to the HasLab Hiss tank, you shouldn't have a problem. So final impressions of the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 120 Knight Stinger and Driver set. Again, it's a nice reuse that we were already anticipating when the Vamp was first released this spring. And you know, overall it doesn't disappoint. Again, the vehicle in and of itself is really well designed, but this is the stock version. The toy community and a lot of really cool creators that have done a lot of work designing and making changes to this vehicle. So let's go through what that is for me. That's the cool part about all this collecting and being in this hobby overall, is that there are some really awesome creative people in the community that are really great at designing and printing out these upgrade kits, kind of like what we have here with Pixis Designs, and really amazing blast effects that we have from ToxicToyDepo. This setup here is how I like it. There are those that are really into Gridiron and the add-on kit that they've created to make a six-wheeled APC out of the Stinger body. Whatever you like, that's your preference. Whatever you want to create, that's your preference. I like the kind of utilitarian urban look that this set creates for me. As I said, there are still some pieces that I ordered later on that are coming in, and that's going to really help sell this whole idea of the Stinger being a fast attack vehicle for Cobra, including, you know, how we have everything set up here without crossing the streams, and I'm sure it's going to irk some people, but I got my Garrison Cavalry, and then we got Zorana here using the trap here in the roof. So if having a Garrison Cavalry on a Cobra vehicle isn't enough of a tizzy, this is probably going to set people off, but it's my collection and I don't care. This is kind of like where I want to see my collection in regards to having the Vanguard here in the Stealth Gray as my urban assault vehicle, and the Stinger is going to be the fast attack vehicle that goes along with it. So it's cool. I don't mind this, but having the stock versus having the customizable parts definitely creates a cooler profile, in my opinion, for the Stinger. And I really think that's what makes this such a cool thing, is that, you know, you can have your own unique style, your own unique kind of outlook on these vehicles. Like I have here between these two same base bodies with some different add-on kits, you get some vastly different profiles. Two totally different looks that really create their own unique and aggressive profiles. And I love having that in my collection. I think it's really cool without damaging or destroying the vehicle in and of itself. This is just enough of a transition for me to really enjoy what we have. And that's the main thing. Enjoy what you have. Who cares what other people think about these items? It's what you decide you spend your money on. So hopefully, you know, you enjoyed this. You like the whole thing of checking out what a lot of these different add-on kits that independent creators make. So with that, kind of close things out here. As always, I thank you guys for watching. And if you would, please click that thumbs up button. Leave a comment. I love reading everything and conversing with you viewers. And if I've earned your subscription, even better. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.